Hey everybody, so today I have a brand new tutorial for you guys, and I'm going to be showing you guys a little look at a piece of one of my remixes I've done. This is the remix I did for Danik's song Dear Life, and I wanted to give you a glimpse into the bass line and the kick and show you a little bit about how to use sends. I'm going to do a lot more tutorials on sends in the future, so this was just the first of many. But I wanted to give you a glimpse into a track. And I'm going to also, once a month, I'm going to show you a little piece of one of my songs and show you how I did it. You may learn something, you may not, but I thought some of you might find it interesting. So for this bass line, I did something similar to my collaboration with Rehab called Rip It Up. And basically what I did was I was messing around in Maelstrom, and I kind of was just recording myself, tweaking knobs. I find this a really cool way to create a new sound. Is I'll just literally sit around, click the record button, and just go crazy with the mod wheel and turning different knobs, trying to get new sounds. And ultimately, through all of my recordedness, my favorite sound that I created was this guy right here, which sounds like this. It kind of sounded like a roar, and I really liked that sound, and I started building bass lines with it. So this entire bass line and the entire bass line of Rip It Up is created with this sample right here. Basically all I do is I chop it up into notes, and I use fades by grabbing the side, and I fade it to be a longer note or a shorter note. So as you can see, I start off really short and I get longer. Now how I created that effect so it sounds like it's going brrr at you is I did 32th notes for the first measure, for the first bar, as you can see. But if you look at the fades of the 32th notes, they're really short for the first four. The next four are getting a little longer, but they're still short. These ones are even longer, and the last four are the longest before it hits. I also automated the volume to be at a little bit of a slope so that it sounds quiet and gets louder, and then I did a pan that pans from hard left to pretty hard right, so it creates this sound. It really fills up your earphones. And then I doubled the track and left this one centered, but I did automate the level on this one, and you get this. It sounds a lot more full than if I was just to have a centered. It's the little things like that that can really make your track sound a bit more unique. As you can see, I did lots of pan automations and level automations on this. I think that's really important to having your song sound polished and professional, is to pay attention to the tiny, tedious automations. They're really important. If you leave it sounding just like a bass line over a kick with a little bit of sidechain, that's what's generic. It's not the synths people use. It's not the kicks people use. Yeah, there are overused samples, there's overused synths and stuff like that, but if you get creative enough with your automations, you can make it sound like your own, even if you're using a kick that everyone's used. So I think that's really important. If you look down at my kicks, I have two kicks here. First kick sounds like this. It's kind of more of a, I'd say, distorted kick. And here is the second layer, which is more of a subby, punchy kick. And together we have this. So the way that I got around these two kicks clashing with each other and having them become one is really in the EQing and a little bit of sidechain. So let's look at this distorted kick. As you can see, I have a pretty steep cutoff of the low end here. And I've also got another EQ where I cut the very low end, everything below 25 hertz. And then I have this sidechain unit set up as well, which basically is a very short sidechain. So the first thing you're going to hear is this punch kick, and then you're going to kind of get this sidechained in with it. And together you get. Let me turn the sidechain off so you can hear. As you can hear, that sounds way messier. There's a lot more clipping going on. It's just less molded together. So that's what I did for the kicks. So that's basically the main part of the drop right there. Now I wanted to talk a little bit about bussing, not a ton, but I wanted to get a little bit into it now, and just kind of show you guys some cool things you can do with sends. So if you don't know what sends are these numbers that are all above each channel, and they correlate with these numbers that are over here, which are the FX return. So basically, sends allow you to add FX, whatever effects you want, and basically you'll get your channel and it'll send that channel to the effects, and you'll get the effects only without it affecting the original signal. And that sounds confusing, but it's actually not very confusing, and it's really cool. So if you've ever noticed, say you're working on reverb and you really love the reverb, but if you've noticed, the more wetness you give it, the more you lose the dry signal. And sometimes you want that dry signal. Say it's a vocal, but you want that extra reverb. Sends are the way you're going to get around that. And that's because you're going to keep your original signal using a send, and you'll also be able to add whatever effect the reverb, say the reverb you want, on top of it without affecting that original signal. So let me show you a little bit. Let's add a new send. So as you can see, send 7 has nothing in the slot yet. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to click edit. Or actually, just kidding. I'm going to go to my rack menu. Your sends will be at the top. There are all these. If you've ever noticed, there's usually these 2 reverbs set up here as well as an echo. And these are all of your sends. So I'm just going to right click on this box that's empty, and I'm going to let's create a reverb. Cool. Now, if I go back to my main mixer, I have bass 1 and bass 2. If I turn on 7, these now are actively sending over to the effects over here the signal. And the louder I turn up this signal, the louder the effects will be without affecting the original channel's sound output. So to give you a demonstration, I turn these up pretty loud, and I'm also going to pan. You're able to pan the effects, which is pretty cool, and you can automate everything. So you can automate the levels, you can automate the pans in the sends, and that's going to create tons of cool atmosphere in your tracks. But I'm going to hard pan it left just so you can really hear what it sounds like with the send. All right, I'm going to start playing now. I'll solo these basses for you. So I was kind of just having fun there, but as you can see, you can really build around the sounds, but I'm not losing any of that original bass line through using these sends. So I'm going to show you other ways I use sends in the future, especially with vocals. Sends are really crucial to creating a great sounding full vocal, because you really want a lot of reverb on vocals unless it's just that good of a singer. Yeah, so that's a glimpse into this track. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please let me know what you want to learn so I can make a video specifically for you. I will have a new video every Thursday on here, so make sure to check back. Thanks, guys.